Yo, what is up, guys? It's Evan here, back with another Porter podcast. Let's get started.
Thanks. That was pretty good.
Let's get started.
I might use that for the rest of them.
Yo, what up?
Okay. All right. Listen. Acid compounds. So, for acids, how do you know you have an acid? Once again, what do you look for? Starts with H, or in the name, you have the term acid. So it should be pretty easy to identify an acid when you have the name of it, because acid is in the name. Now, what are we thinking about when we're looking at acid compounds? Are they more closely related to ionic or covalent? Ionic. Very good, Macy. So, if you see an H, you should picture an H+. That is always going to be your cation in an acid. So, we actually have to look to the anion for how to name these. So, for the anions, you are going to see basically three different suffixes. Ide, ate, and ite. And based on which suffix you see, you're going to have a different naming scheme. So, most of the nonmetals on the periodic table, when they form anions, they have what ending? Ide. So just going down the halogens, fluorine becomes fluoride. Chlorine becomes chloride. Bromine, bromide. Iodine, iodide. Oxide, sulfide, nitride, phosphide, so forth and so on. So those all have IDE endings. So let's take a look at chlorine when it becomes chloride. So here we have chloride. Take a look down here. IDE. When you have IDE, you are going to replace the IDE with ic. You are going to use the prefix hydro and add acid at the end. So chlorine becomes hydrochloric acid.
How do you even know that? I mean, I get it, but
It's just a naming scheme. It's a pattern you'll follow.
Is hydro the element, acid?
Yep. So chlorine again becomes hydrochloric acid. All right, let's take a look at another example. Where do you see most of your ates and ites? Where do you see ate and ite suffixes? It's not on your periodic table. It's on a list that you guys wrote down.
Common ion.
Nope.
Yep.
Polyatomic ions. So you guys have a whole list of polyatomic ions. That's where you're seeing anions with the suffix ate and ite. So for instance, NO3 is nitrate. Ate is replaced with ic, add acid at the end. So nitrate, HNO3 becomes what? Nitric acid. Nitric acid. Now, if we look at SO3, 2 negative. SO3, 2 negative. What polyatomic ion is this? Nope. Look closely. Sulfite. SO3, 2 negative is sulfite. It ends in ITE. So what we're going to do is we are going to take the ITE, replace it with OUS, and add acid at the end. So sulfite becomes sulfurous acid. Sulfur and phosphorus, we're adding that UR back in to the name. So it's sulfurous acid, phosphorus acid. Okay? All right, look at a couple of these examples for the practice. HBr. What's your anion here? What's the anion here? H plus and Br negative. This is what? Bromide. IDE. So, what is going to be the name of HBr? What? Hydrobromic acid.
Is there always going to be a hydrogen in front of them because it's hydro?
The only time you use hydro is with IDE suffixes. So, take a look. Hydroiodic acid. What anion are we talking about here? Iodide. So you have hydroic acid. So iodic becomes iodide. And what is the symbol for iodide? I minus. So how many hydrogens do I need to make a neutral compound? 1. H plus. So together, HI is your formula. What's NO2? Nitrite. So ite, nitrite, what are we changing ite to? OUS, so we have nitrous acid. Chloric acid. Where does ic acid come from? Nope. Doesn't have the hydro, so it's not.
8?
Should come from 8. So we're looking at chlorate here. Now, what's chlorate? ClO3 minus. So how many hydrogens do you need? 1. So it becomes HClO3. PO4. What is the what is the charge on PO4? Negative what? Take a look at how many hydrogens you have. So it should be PO4 negative what? 3. PO4 negative 3. So take a look over at your polyatomic ion list. And what's PO4 negative 3? Phosphate. So 8 means we change it to ic acid. You get phosphoric acid. What about acetic acid? What is that coming from? Ic acid comes from what rule? 8. So you have acetate. So I look over here at acetate. Is it on here? No. Oh, that stinks. Acetate is C2H3O2 negative. So, how many hydrogen do I need? 1. H plus to get HC2H3O2. Anybody know what acetic acid is? You guys have it in your house. Vinegar. Vinegar. Vinegar, vinegar, vinegar.